6 years ago, I decided enough was enough and I wanted more for me and my family financially. So what I want to do in this video is show you exactly how we've been managing our finances over the last 6+ years now to put us in a position where we've been able to secure our finances, eliminate over £150,000 worth of debt, escape my 9 to 5 at the age of 32, retire my wife completely at the age of 33, and hit an enormous milestone in terms of our net worth, which I want to share with you in this video. So without further ado, let's jump into my screen share and show you exactly how we've been making this happen so that you know how to do this for yourself. Okay, so this is the tool that I started building all those years ago when I decided enough was enough and I wanted to take control of our finances, get our debt gone, and just build something resembling wealth for our future. So this is just one of the 9 tabs that we personally use to take control of our finances, to manage them, keep track of what's going on, and to be able to make plans and informed decisions going forwards. Most people only need the first 6, but we have a business that we also have to track the expenses of. But this is where the magic happens. This is the monthly balance sheet, and this is where it all began as well. This is the first tab that I started building just to try and take control of our month-to-month finances. And it couldn't be any more simple, really. We set our plan at the beginning of the month of what our expenses are going to be. Obviously, most of them are fixed, so they don't really change, but all the stuff that's variable, we plan for as best as we can in these columns over here. And then we track our actual spend against that plan as the month goes. So by the end of the month, we knew what we were planning to spend and what we actually spent and the difference between those two numbers. And that has been an absolute game changer, because I can tell you for free, there is no point in setting a plan if you're not going to track your actual spend against that plan. And there is no point in just tracking what you've actually spent if you're not tracking what you've spent against a plan that you've built. You need both in order to help you make informed decisions going forward and to adjust your habits going forwards. So that is the game changer of this spreadsheet. Now, the best part about this particular tab of the spreadsheet is once we've put our income in this table over here, and we've mapped out all of our expenses and payments and everything else to the left of that, it tells us exactly what our free cash flow is at the start of the month, which means we can pay ourselves first, right? Rather than just leaving that and it getting absorbed and spent on who knows what, we can say, right, our savings goals, our investment goals, our debt elimination goals are XYZ, and here's how we're going to distribute that free cash flow between those goals. So you can see if I hit undo that we were able to utilize nearly every penny of that free cash flow towards our savings and investments, leaving ourselves about £400 on a monthly basis, give or take, as contingency, which is just for variability in our expenses, because you always end up spending a bit more than you expected, right? So, and it's a good thing we did, because our actual free cash flow based on our actual income and actual spend and outgoings was about £300 more, right? So our free cash flow was about £300 less. So it's really, really good that we did that. Now, the spreadsheet also looks at our income versus our outgoings on a plan and actual basis, as well as our planned and actual expenses based on the different categories. So it's always nice to see our savings and investments are the biggest piece of the pie. And then we can see everything else compared to that. Now, we also track our yearly expenses. So this is just tracking the actual for each category as we go. And that's really important for just getting a snapshot of what we are bringing in versus what's going out for the year, as well as getting an understanding of our average savings rate by the end of the year once everything's filled in. So it's always really, really nice to see. The most powerful part of tracking all of this, though, is so that our retirement expenses, which is the forecasted outgoings we expect to have in the financial freedom phase of our lives, are much more accurate. Because every year, once I've completed this tab for the yearly expenses, I can come into my expenses in retirement, my forecasted expenses in retirement, and make sure these still make sense based on what we're currently paying. Obviously, most things in our financial freedom phase of our life, which is about 8 years away, will be more expensive than they currently are. So it's a case of checking what we're paying now and making sure the numbers we have in here are higher than what we have in our current yearly expenses. Obviously, some of it also we need to make sure we capture in case we need to remove it because it may not be relevant in the future, such as childcare costs, petrol and things like that, because we now have an electric car, all those kind of things, right? So it's a real game changer, because that means the closer you get to your retirement goal or your financial freedom goal, the more accurate this plan becomes, the more accurate your number is, and the more confidence you have in your ability to stop working and live life on your own terms. So we're currently on track to be able to retire at 42 with a really decent surplus yearly income as well. And this is all through consistency. It didn't start this way, right? For anyone wondering how on earth we're achieving a savings rate of 61% and are on track to retire at 42, when I first started this plan, the first few steps I made, I was able to bring my retirement age from 82 down to like my early 60s. Our savings rate was under 10%. But through consistency over the last 8 or 9 years now, our savings rate has grown from less than 10% to 61%, and our retirement age has dropped from 82 down to 42. And that is just a really great demonstration of having a plan, taking action on that plan consistently, and having patience with the plan and continuing to do what you can to improve it along the way. We also track all of our savings and investments in this tab here, so we can see, the growth of our investments in line with our savings and so on, which is really, really nice to see, especially when they're doing well. Not so nice to see when the market is down, but there we go. We also track our house equity and assets and any other assets we have in this tab, any debt we have in this tab, and that all feeds through to our net worth tab. Our net worth has just crossed £600,000. And I'm not saying this in a way to brag, but purely just to show you how powerful having a tool like this is. The whole reason we have been able to achieve the savings rate we have, to eliminate 152 grand of debt over the last 7 years, to save a nest egg for our daughter, for me to be able to escape my 9 to 5 at the age of 32, for me to be able to help my wife fully retire, to never have to work again at the age of 33, for us to both be on track to be completely work optional at the age of 42, is because we are using this tool, and then we are doing what we can outside of that to make the numbers in this grow, right? When you get a monthly report out of your net worth, every single month, it's like seeing the health status of your finances. And what that does is it encourages you to make decisions that will drive that number up rather than down. It shows you the long-term impact of your short-term financial decisions, because you're seeing your net worth going up and down over time. And we do whatever we can to make this number go up, right? Because that's only going to make us wealthier and enable us to achieve our goals. For some background on this, our net worth has not always grown this fast, but this shows compounding in effect. The first few years of tracking my net worth, it would go up by maybe a few thousand, right? Just this year alone, in the last 7 months, it's grown by £160,000. And most of that is coming from compound interest from our investments, right? Yes, the markets are up and that is absolutely helping. We're also making really good contributions now because I run a successful business and it's doing well. It enables me to invest via my business as well as personally. But a lot of that is coming from compound interest, and that is the beauty of this. It's something I really, really wanted to demonstrate. So if you're not tracking your finances in this way with a tool like this, it goes without saying, I highly recommend you go and do it, because it is the whole reason we've been able to achieve all of those goals and milestones that I mentioned. So I'm going to leave a link below because I'm going to be running an event actually in a few days, kind of breaking down on a lot more detail, obviously over an hour, kind of walking through exactly what we did, the step-by-step sequence of events that you can follow, so you can copy and paste the exact sequence and start doing this for yourself. I'll leave the link below to that so you can register for your space before they are all gone. And I'll also leave, as part of that, you'll be able to apply to get your hands on this tool as well, and potentially be able to work with me if you follow through the process. So go click that link and register. That's all you need to do. I'm not going to confuse it. Just go and register for the event, and I look forward to seeing you there. All the best, and I will see you in the next video. If you are watching this on YouTube, if you could smash the thumbs up, that would massively be appreciated, and make sure you subscribe as well so that you catch all of these future updates. So I try and do one of these videos every single month, showing you that I am, practicing what I preach and keeping myself accountable to you guys at the end of the day. I also share more on how to manage and invest your money to become financially free. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video.